Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Well, it's Friday, which means it's a busy day for many of you, kind of getting things ready for tomorrow and just a day of rest ahead of us for many of us. Less than 2 days before the government shuts down, or at least that's what they're saying. Now, it's still very much a possibility, like most of the times in the past when we get down to this government shutdown or we got to come up with a spending bill, that they come up with something at the midnight hour kind of thing. So it's still possible. But I will admit this time it's not looking quite as good. So I think that there's a higher possibility of a government shutdown. Now, every time this happens, it's just this big deal, and oh my goodness, the government's going to shut down. My opinion is please just let it shut down. Just shut it all down. Close the doors, lock it, throw a chain around it. Just shut it down. I understand that people will have to be furloughed and stuff, and then there's some good people that work for the United States government. I get that, but there's also way too many people that work for the United States government. So my sympathy only goes so far. So as far as I'm concerned, it can shut down, but it could be that this could lead to other things. With the amount of debt that the United States is continually going into, the instability of just our whole economics, the interest rates, the debt, the inflation, it's just, the de-dollarization. More and more we're seeing almost every week, more and more nations are doing business with each other without the US dollar. So this time around, it could affect us a little bit more if in fact it gets shut down, especially on an international stage. Is it all kind of being put together, opening the doorway even more so to CBDCs? It's possible. There's been a lot of talk recently about digital currency and how it is coming, and it's coming sooner than you think. Some even notable people online are talking about it. So I think that we could be headed that direction. Then, of course, in the next few days is October 4th. And I haven't really gotten on this bandwagon much, but for those of you that don't know, FEMA has announced that they're going to do a big emergency broadcast test nationwide on October 4th. And there's a lot of people out there that think that this could be some kind of cover for some big event. Some kind of grid shutdown or a cyber attack or something like that. Maybe it's going to lead to a bank bail-in, where they just consume all of the money in your accounts and say, well, we'll pay it back to you eventually, but for right now, we're going to keep it and use it. I don't know. And I have been on the side of I think that it's nothing. But I'm a little bit more moving to the other side because yesterday came out in the news that Russia on October 3rd is doing a full nationwide mobilization test under the auspice of martial law of the entire nation, the military and the people. They will be mobilizing and assessing how they could mobilize the whole nation under martial law. Just the day before, the United States does a nationwide emergency broadcast test. Again, it could be nothing. It could be nothing. And I'm still erring on that side. I'm still leaning that way. But definitely a little bit more, I don't know, paying attention a little bit more, I guess. I don't want everyone to just go out into a panic and think that the world is ending in a few days. But because we've gone through this before, I can think of several. Yes, the cows are very loud today. It's just how cows are. But we've gone through this before where there's a particular date that pops up because of whatever reason. Maybe it's just a big conspiracy theory, or maybe it's something going on that's official, and everyone thinks that that's the day that things kind of fall apart, and of course nothing happens. I would say that this is most likely the case with this October 4th and now October 3rd thing. but it doesn't hurt to be prepared. It doesn't hurt to be ready. I've said this before. I've heard a few others online say something similar to this, that it's okay to have some false starts. I think a lot of times when that happens, many people almost feel like, oh, I feel stupid, I thought that it was happening, and I went out and I stocked up and filled up my gas tanks and gas cans and made sure everything was topped off, or we loaded the truck just in case we had to bug out, or I went through and checked our bug out bags to make sure that they're all there in case we have to throw one on and take off for the woods. Where's the negative side to that? I don't see anything negative with that. I've advocated many times that when these kinds of things happen, that it is probably a good idea to make sure your gas cans are topped off. I mean, oil prices yesterday broke $95 a barrel. They just keep going up. There's no sign that they're going to be, crashing and we're going to see cheap gas anymore. It's probably just going to continue to go up, and we may never see cheap gas anymore. We're already nearing $4 a gallon for a nationwide average, and certainly some places are seeing in the high $5 and even $6 a gallon. So stocking up on making sure you're topped off on some gas is not a bad idea. Going through your equipment, whether your plan is to bug out or bug in, is not a bad idea. Here at our homestead, just to give you an example, whenever there's a storm coming, not just any storm, but when it's a storm that it looks like it has the potential to be very severe, if there's tornado warnings or watches, and there's a possibility that something of that level could happen, one of the things we do here, we have certain containers that we keep water in, and we go through and we make sure they're all topped off. We don't do a lot of big water storage here because, we have live water on the property and a well and stuff like that. But we do have, water in containers to hold us through for a few days. And we go through and make sure they're all topped off. We make sure other things are, plugged in to charge any batteries, any flashlight batteries, cell phones, anything like that. We get them out, we go ahead and plug them in. That way they're kind of topped off. We have a routine around here. The children know what their jobs are when something like that happens, when there's a potential for a very severe storm. Again, we don't do that every time there's a storm. It's the Ozarks. It storms frequently. But that's just a routine that we have. We should all have that kind of routine on things like this too. I don't think it's paranoia or insanity. The odds of something happening on October 3rd or 4th or 5th are probably low. I'm just assuming. But is it a good idea to base all of your preparations on an assumption? Well, of course not. It's not. That's a very foolish thing to do. We should always be ready for, the unknown. And this is one of those unknowns. I suspect all of these things that have happened over the last several years where it's, it could be happening this day. Oh, it could be happening this day. It's very possible that there is a psyop going on to condition us to think, oh, nothing's going to happen. Oh, nothing's going to happen. And then at some point, something does happen, and we're caught off guard. So don't let yourself be caught off guard. Again, I'm not advocating or telling you that on October 4th, the world as we know it's going to end. I'm telling you that there's a possibility. It's a possibility that'll happen tomorrow or later this afternoon or the day after that. So we should always be ready. You should make sure that your, gasoline is topped off. You should make sure that food and water and bug out bags or animal feed or battery charges, all of these things that you can do in a fairly quick moment, you should probably make sure it's done. That's just a good habit to get into and to create a routine so that you're not scattered. And you could even write it down like a checklist of this is what we do, check this off, check this off, check this off, when something is potentially bad happening. And that just kind of gets us ready. Now, before I end the video, I want to share something with you. Some of you might care about it, some of you might not. I have zero business relationship, and this is how much I care about you folks. This is about a pretty good deal on silver bullion right now. I have a business that I am an affiliate of that I get a percentage of Money Metals. There's a link in the description below for that. But another company that I don't have a business relationship with is running a pretty good sale right now. You can buy 1 ounce silver bars for only $1.99 over spot. That's right. You don't get to pick and choose which ones, but they're 1 ounce silver bars for $1.99 over spot, and it doesn't matter if you buy 1 or if you buy 100 of them. It's $1.99 over spot. It's sdbullion.com. It should show up right in here somewhere. sdbullion.com should show it right on the front page of the website. $1.99 over spot for 1 ounce gold bars. You know, if you want to help me out, you can go buy some other stuff at the link in the description below where you can buy precious metals. But this one, I think that's a pretty doggone good deal right now. I mean, just months ago, silver and gold spot, over spot was awful. You know, some places things were $10, $15 over spot. So $1.99 over spot's pretty good right now. And silver prices are, you know, they're not super low, but they're down. And gold is down quite a bit. You want to buy some gold, go over to my link and you can buy gold over there. That's what you should do. All right, folks, just get ready. We should always be ready. We should always, we live in a world now that we should be in a state of readiness. Okay, it doesn't mean that we're on our edge and we're just stressed out because we're just worried the next thing's going to happen. No, we're living in a state of readiness. We should be that way spiritually too, folks, that we're just living in a state of readiness. And so if you have the time today, sit down and write out a little checklist of the things that you should do before potentially something bad happens, and then go through that and make sure you've got everything topped off and ready to go by the time October 4th comes around. Most likely it'll be nothing, but just in case, you will be ready. Folks, it's time to get your houses in order, to prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.